Welcome to the Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world, wherever you are. We know in South Africa it's election days. We have had some views of some of the leaders or some of the politicians in the Tally Center in Midrand about the views while they're still watching the screen, seeing what exactly is going to be the outcome of the elections in South Africa. So we had Helen Zille, we had from MK, we had Zuma's daughter, Duduzile Zuma, and we had Kwete Mantashe from the ANC side, Helen Zille from the DA. We just listened to their views, what they had to say about what they have to say about what is going on the screen, and their hopes, and what exactly if nobody gets majority, so how they gonna, which side they're gonna go for, which political party they might choose. So it's quite interesting listening to them and understanding where their mind state is, and yeah. So let's listen to what they had to say. Then we will conclude after that.
Dr. Zille, thank you so much for talking to us. I think my first question is, are you surprised in any way at the numbers that we're seeing? There's about 2 million votes that have been counted so far. Did you expect this reception?
We were obviously gunning for 2/3 majority, so we were expecting something, so, but we are happy what we have, and we're grateful to the voters for going out to vote.
And I mean, the voters seem to have trust in MK and the change that you're going to bring. Just elaborate for us, I mean, what does the party stand for, and what are you putting out as a message to voters who have voted for you?
I think people wanted to see what the ANC could not implement, which is the land issue, free education, and the unemployment rate, which has increased drastically. So I think they saw what President Zuma could do before and trust they could do it again. So yeah, that's where we are.
And my last question, you could be a member of parliament. I mean, if things go your way.
Yeah.
This is your test in politics.
Well,
tell us, who is Dr. Zille and what are you bringing as a member of parliament? Because it's a lot of pressure. You're going to be representing the whole country in that instance. I mean, are you ready for the challenge? And also, what are you bringing to the table, and what are you going to ensure when you get into government, whether local or national? What are you going to do for the people?
Well, obviously, it's like my first kind of rodeo in the politics space in terms of getting into parliament. Reluctantly so, but obviously the people have some faith in me, which I'm happy for. And really, for us, what we bring to the table is basically trying to make sure that the mandate that people have given us, we fulfill. So that's what we're going to be doing when we get into parliament.
And so, are you looking for, is the former president going to be here? What is he expecting?
He will pop in at some point.
What has he told you?
He's going to pop into the center side sometime. Yeah, he's just excited. I mean, this is historical what's happening. Never been done. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Minister, from the votes that have been counted so far, maybe over 2 million, what is your impression on what you see on the leaderboard at this point?
What is important is that you are at just under 1 million. It means that many possibilities will happen there. If we accelerate in the votes that will come in, we may actually breach the 50% mark. If we slow down, we'll drop further. So what is important is that we're over 43% now, and which is a good start for the day.
A lot of people are talking that the ANC will be forced to go into coalition depending on the outcome of this election. Are you ready for a coalition, and what conversations are you having right now as a party?
Journalists, business have imposed this idea of a coalition on us. We are waiting for the results. We want to win with outright majority, e-coalition is not a plan, it is a consequence. We'll deal with that consequence when it happens.
My last question is, a lot of people were frustrated at the polls yesterday. I mean, many of the issues were as a result of, unfortunate incidents by the IEC. But I think a lot of people from on the ground, were very dissatisfied with the ANC. And I mean, it's a thorn and an issue that the party has been dealing with. Now that we have voted, do you think that it's going to reflect on the outcome of the election?
If there were many people who are unhappy with the ANC, numbers would be telling us that. At this point in time, we're just under 1 million. There is not one party that is close to those numbers. So this serious dissatisfaction with the ANC has no evidence in the numbers. So let's wait for those numbers and talk to them and deal with them as we finish.
If you don't get outright majority, what is the next step for the ANC?
That is a consequence which we will have to deal with when it happens. You never plan for consequences, you plan for a strategy that you have developed. We plan for outright majority. That remains the plan. If there is something different, it will be a consequence and we will deal with it.
So there's no stress amongst the ruling party at this stage?
Stress, why should we be stressful? There are elections, we contested, everybody contested. A person who is having 900 votes and a person who has 900,000 votes, all of them contested in the same space, lobbied the same people. So why should we stress?
Mr. Matasha, thank you very much.
And goes.
So the first question is probably the most interesting one. Like everyone is asking, what's going to happen now that the NC is not like the results are showing that the NC for now didn't get 50%. So what do you think is going to happen in terms of coalition? What are your expectations?
My expectations are that my party will take the least bad option. There's never really a good option with coalitions. You've just got to look at all of the options and choose the least bad one. Now that is not my job. It's the job of our executive committee, and we will be tasked with that when we know what the final result is and when we know what all the options are. So that is what we're going to be doing then.
So which kind of policies for you would see as like non-negotiables? Which kind of policies, if there is a coalition?
Well, I can't say what's non-negotiable or not. Again, our federal executive will do that. But for me personally, I would say non-racialism is non-negotiable. I'm very committed to non-racialism. The rule of law would be non-negotiable for me. Constitutionalism would be non-negotiable. A market-based economy would be non-negotiable. Those are the kinds of things that would be very important to us.
And which kind of policies you think the party would be less strict to stick to, maybe is able to negotiate with the ANC?
Well, positions, for example. We're not talking about negotiating with the ANC. Let me say that right now. But in coalitions, you can be a bit more flexible on what positions you take, what portfolios your party takes, all of that kind of stuff. But on the fundamental values, you've got to be quite firm.
Yeah. So fundamental values meaning
what I've just mentioned
else?
to you.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you think about investors? They're very worried. What's going to happen? The economy is depending on it. The rand is depending on it. How would the GA calm investors down?
Well, what we will do is we will do everything in our power to prevent an ANC, MK and EFF coalition. That would spook investors. It would tank the economy. It would be a disaster for South Africa. So we're very committed to preventing that outcome.
But just to confirm, you're not in any negotiations yet with any
No,
party?
we're not in negotiations with any party.
Another question. The same question, but it's mostly about people. People I'm not sure everyone can expect such a coalition, the NC and DA. How would you count the population? What would you?
Well, we are talking hypothetical here, and there are many other options which would come for us before an ANC-DA coalition. So we're not looking at that, and we're not discussing any form of coalition, because what we have to do is look at the board, look at every option there is, and take the least bad option. But I can't talk about coalitions now, because A, I'm not empowered to do that, it's not my decision, and we have processes in the DA that takes decisions.
And what's your general comment on the DA's performance so far?
I'm very happy with it. I think we've recovered from our big setback in 2019, and to go forward even a few percentage points is hundreds of thousands of additional votes.
You think the result is going to hold, or it might change?
It's going to change still. This is very early days, and the result changes all the time. And the metros are still coming in, so the metros are where we have our strong support. But I'm confident that we will go forward from 2019, yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's hear your comments and what you think about this. Three politicians who have just glanced in the screen and say something about how they think about the elections. Let's comment respectfully, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bravo, bravo.